back with another podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be confused. It is Tuesday. And this is No Sugar, No Cream Podcast. You might think it's Thursday, but you are mistaken. Yes, it is Tuesday. And that is a story I am sticking with. Guys, we are back with another podcast. We are live, looking good as ever. Here with my co-hosts, who is about to sit down in T-minus 3 seconds.
3, 2, 1, kaboom! Here I am.
Kaboom! There he is. Happy good Tuesday to you, Tim.
Tuesday Redux.
What a wonderful Tuesday it is.
Such a wonderful Tuesday.
Lovely. Guys, thank you for being here on Sadly this Thursday. A couple days late. I'm a horrible liar, as you can tell. But yeah, we were busy.
Out of town. Well, we were out of town.
Taking care of some shenanigans. Wibble beeble wobble weeble, this and that and this and there. You know.
We were in Madison, Indiana, my second home these days. And
exactly what I said. I said weeble wobble. That was exactly what I said. But like in the weeble wobble, what in the language? Yes, the way he said. And we had a great time. Checked up on the businesses, relaxed. Tim's got a nice loft there. I might have to sleep on a couch, but that's okay. I love couches.
we can get you a bed set. If you want a bed, we'll get you a real bed. If
I
you
want
prefer.
an inflatable little bedding. I want a twin-size bed with race car sheets. Seriously, I want some race car sheets if that's okay. Race car sheets.
Actually, I mentioned to Jimmy, we might be able to turn that. There's enough room. We could turn that into a 2-bedroom. There's enough room in that room. We can put another separate room there. But that's to be discussed off camera, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess that
That's a big room. That's a big room where the TV is.
Large room.
So turn it into from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what's your take on Madison, Indiana?
I love Madison. I think last time I said it was I quite enjoyed Madison. It's a lovely city. They call it the Music City now. They gave themselves that name basically.
Yes.
And we're at the down. You got kind of like the newer side of town, and then like downtown area is just popping. It's great. We went to a sandwich place, which was lovely.
Deli
place. I love me some.
Red pepper. Shout out to Red Pepper.
You just walk. You can just walk around downtown area there and just walk in different businesses, and it's just great. I just love that. I mean, there's that old town, that downtown look. That's old school buildings. That a lot of times they'll remodel them and stuff, and then there's a number of houses too that are kind of run into where the downtown area is, but it's just awesome. I think always my favorite building is like an old school movie theater. There might be one or two of those. Well, there's definitely at least one of them. And it looks sharp. Got the
old theater. Yeah.
It's even got the old like little box office.
Yes.
So you would see the movies and stuff
Yeah.
like right there. Like I don't know if they probably still use it, but yeah.
The Howell Theater, they're renovating it. They're spending millions of dollars renovating that. And it's only like we were at the Central Tavern, and you look down the street and you're like, man, the river is just there, like a block away.
Yeah, we got the
Ohio River, big river,
right there.
Beautiful river, big river, and
it's a wide river, and it would be right there. Especially there must be it runs quick, so oh my gosh, you would have a tough time swimming across that thing because you would start at one spot and you'd probably get across a mile further down once you finally made it to the other side.
Nephew, you are very smart because observational. I'm impressed, buddy. I'm being honest. I'm impressed. Jimmy has told me that so many people have told him that they've swum across the Ohio River. and he always asks them, where did you land versus where did you start and where did you land? And he knows they're lying when they say, well, I pretty much right across. And you figure that out. You just saw how fast that river goes, and you just said, yeah, you probably would arrive about a mile downstream.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how far, but you're not going to be, if you look across and say, yeah, I'm going to swim and I end up directly across. No, you're not. You're gonna be ferried downstream.
You're pretty good there. There must be. It just, I don't know what would make it just go through there so much quicker. I mean, I guess it is a river for one thing, but then, I mean, maybe it was wider up further, and then it's coming together a little bit where it would push the water.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. You know, and so I did do a video, a TikTok video on the other side of Milton, Kentucky.
That's where I go to get my cigs.
Debra, good to have you.
Debra's happy to get us cigs.
Your voice has gotten a little better, not quite as hoarse as before.
You know, I took a 30 minutes off of smoking. I did it for a whole 30 minutes.
And that improved your voice already. I love it. I love it.
Because I had diarrhea.
What does that have to do with the smoking?
No, I don't feel like smoking when I get the diarrhea. I just don't. It's just the worst. But I appreciate it. Jimmy always down there goes and gets him cigarettes. I'm his cousin. You know, he takes good care of me. Shout out to Jimmy. He still hasn't friended me on Facebook, but that's okay. He's got a lot of friends. He's a busy man. I think he's your partner.
He is my partner, yes.
Yeah, he's your partner. That's nice. That's real nice. What you guys got going is a good thing there. Take care of a lot of people. This is real nice what you got going there. For the family. Yeah, that's real nice.
I'm so glad Debra was able to make it today.
You know, I'm just happy to be here.
So what is your favorite brand of cigs, Debra? Well, I mean,
You know, I like a good mob oil. I used to love the Camel back in the day, you know, Hump Day and all that. And just a big fan of the Camel. You know, we used to have the sunglasses, but then they said, oh, you're selling it to the children, you can't do that. You know what? Let the children smoke. Put some hair on the back. Put some hair on the back. Let the children smoke. You know, I've done the research. I'm pretty sure everybody will agree with you. The cigarettes don't hurt you one bit. They don't do a thing to you. It's all conspiracies, what I've heard.
I want to interrupt Debra's point. And, Debra's viewpoints do not in any way reflect the viewpoints of no sugar, no cream. Not at all. Completely does not.
Oh, y'all conspiracy theorists, huh? Y'all conspiracy theorists. You look like a conspiracy theorist.
Debra is only voicing her own opinions about the dangers of cigarette smoking.
You think you smoke a cigarette and you get smokers, coughing and stuff, you get sick. You know what you're talking about. I'm happy. I'm healthy as a whistle. Yeah, I might have to stop to take a little breath every 15 minutes.
Can you climb more than one flight of stairs, Debra?
With my oxygen mask. It gives me good support.
Don't know where to go from here.
Well, anyways, thank y'all.
Bye, Debra. Thanks for stopping by.
They got a good deal on cigarettes at the Costco. I didn't know they sold cigarettes at the Costco. See you guys.
Bye, Debra. Woo! Woo! Wow.
What just happened?
Yeah, what just happened? I don't even know. Debra made a surprise appearance, but I'm glad she made it, and I'm glad she's safe. And she sounds a little better than last time she was on.
I don't know what happened, but I feel like I smell like smoke now or something.
Anyway, across the river in Milton, there's some lines painted on the wall of a building that's been there a long time. And I made a TikTok video of it, and I got like almost 200,000 views.
No. First, what did you first call it? I think you should stick with that. You probably realize what you just said.
What did I just say?
You said tuck.
Tuck.
I
made a tuck video. I made a tuck video. You know, TikTok is going to be outlawed, so the new one is tuck. We created it. It's called tuck. Anyway, on this brick building that's apparently been there since at least 1920s.
Yeah, you showed me.
And it has a line drawn, and it's like a block away from the river.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a line drawn that's like 5 feet off the sidewalk from like the floodwaters in like 1970. I don't remember. It continues to go up. And the highest line is in the middle of the second story window. So like 15, maybe 18 feet off the ground. And this is at least 100 feet, maybe 200 feet from the river. Uphill all the way.
At least, yeah.
And that river, I think the highest point is from 1936 flood or the 1930s. That was in the middle of the second story window. That's how high that water was. And I mean, we have a lot of property. If the water was that high on the Kentucky side, it's going to be just as high on the Indiana side, where we have a lot of businesses. And I'm a little concerned. When you said, like, when you look down from Central, which is our business, and the water is only about as far away from that business as it is from the building that I'm talking about on the Kentucky side. And so if the water got that high on the Madison side, Indiana side, it would be in the middle of the second story. And it happened less than 100 years ago. Let's pray that doesn't happen again.
It'd be all right. It'd be okay. We'll just make a little BA a year.
What?
Make a little beer a year.
Barrier.
Little beer a year.
Thank you. Debra, did you come back?
Oh, that's my aunt.
Oh! What's your aunt's name?
You know. The smoker.
Oh, well, Debra is your aunt.
Yeah, I just call her Aunt Smokey. She's always smoking. Can't believe still.
So anyway, the interesting history of Madison. It was at once considered the capital, or was going to be the capital of Indiana, and it was a major the end of the Underground Railroad, because back in Kentucky was part of the Confederacy, and Indiana was part of the North. And so the Ohio River separated, and African Americans who were trying to, escape to safety would come up through Kentucky, and then they would come across the river. And there's tunnels underneath the central building, which was built in like 1805. I mean, it's a very old building. And there's deep in the catacombs of that building, we haven't even explored all of it. Jimmy said there's rumors that there's maybe even be a tunnel underneath the river back to the Kentucky side, because Indiana was supporting as a safe haven for. Can you imagine back then? You're at war, and across the river is your enemy. Used to be your friends, but now it's your enemy. I mean, Civil War was crazy.
You didn't wave at him. Hey guys, you shot my arm off. I was just waving at you. I just waving you with my knob. I'm gonna go apply some pressure to this. See you next time. So cordial back then.
Yeah, I mean, brothers fighting against brother. I mean, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. I hope we never have anything like that again in our country. Anyway, so that area was, the Underground Railroad was a major part of that. Apparently, I mean, we don't have definitive, but there's stories about that, and there's tunnels underneath Central, and a lot of history. And back then, the Ohio River, before there were even railroads, the Ohio River was a major way of transporting goods up and down rivers, river traffic. And so Madison, right on the river, and then you go down the river towards Kentucky, you got Louisville, and then you go up the river, or I'm not even sure which direction it was going. You go the other direction on the river, and you're in Cincinnati. So Cincinnati, Madison, Louisville, three cities that were within, by car, an hour and a half away, each one between. So that's not that far away. Now by river, I'm sure it took longer, but when you're trying to transport things on the river, it was quite
Or if
the
you didn't have a
bustling.
car back then.
Well, before there was a car, horse and buggy days, you go up and down the river, and times changed. Then railroads came along and radically changed that. So
Because the steamboat was before the car, right?
steamboat was before the car, sure, absolutely. Well, yeah, common. Actually, the automobile was invented in the 1800s, they say, but it didn't come in common practice
Ford
until
made it widespread.
when Ford made it. Yeah,
Mainstream.
Ford made it mainstream. Yeah, made it affordable for everybody. It used to be only the elite could have it.
It just popped up everywhere.
Yeah, you wanted to have it so everyone could afford a car.
I was hearing somebody say that it was really good for like place up in New York because like there was like a foot deep of poop everywhere from horses. Like it was just creating an unsafe environment, just amount of manure all over the ground, and that. So
I believe it.
I
believe
It was really helpful.
I mean,
to
horses and
cars.
cows. Yeah, growing up on a farm, we had a horse or two. We didn't have a lot of horses, but my sister had a horse. Your mom had a horse, and then cows. Cows poop a lot. I mean, a lot. I mean, I saw a video today of a woman who has her cow in her home, and treats it as a pet, full-grown cow, 2,000-pound cow, in their living room, laying down in the living room. And I'm just remembering taking care of the cattle. I never was, out with the herd of cattle and not one of them just pooped right there. It was just, raise their tail and their rolls down on the floor. And I'm just thinking about, and these are big cow pies. I mean, there's a pile of that big. These are big animals, and imagine having that in your living room, and you have to clean that up. And somebody posted underneath the video, said, "Has your cow pooped in your house?" No, never. I don't believe
Bull
crap. Absolutely.
Bull crap, exactly right.
Or cow crap. So horses eat a lot. Horses eat more than cattle. I remember there were people who loved to have horses. There was one guy I knew who was a neighbor back in South Dakota, and he didn't really ride horses, but he just liked having them as pets. And he said the biggest thing is they eat so much. They eat more than cows do. And so if they eat that much, they're going to create waste. So I believe that horses poop more than cows. And that would make sense from what you were saying about is this the bodily function podcast?
Sure. I tell you. Yeah,
I tell you, yes, I tell you, Seth. I tell you.
Well, we're not big fans of it, but the NCAA March Madness is going on right now.
Yeah.
And it's down to the Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, I believe so, yeah.
And the one team that is kind of surprising that, usually there's some upsets. The only team left now that is kind of surprising is Arkansas. Razorbacks, where I'm from. Still got my property up there in Northwest Arkansas. I got some friends up there. Shout out to Northwest Arkansas. Still love it up there. Great area, home of Walmart and all that. But yeah, Arkansas Razorbacks there in Fayetteville. And yeah, doing good. Got a really good coach, somebody that's already in the Hall of Fame. So that's pretty exciting.
Won it in 2022.
Excited to see how they do tonight. I'm hoping they have at least a good chance. Some of these games can be quite a blowout.
You played Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, yeah. Is that SEC? Is that SEC now? I don't know. We don't know. We are football and basketball NBA and NFL fans over here.
Not much college.
Yeah.
And separated. Seth is a rabid NFL fan. I'm
Rubbish.
very serious NBA fan, and we help each other with information as to what goes on. But when it comes to college sports, we're just more casual, and we're not as knowledgeable.
Casual. But I guess they're staying, more in college now since they're getting paid. So like, hey, might as well stick around. I like what I'm doing here. So
they're staying more than just one and done.
Yeah. That the coach was kind of talking about that. It's a little bit harder to recruit, or they would to recruit freshmen, and because they have more, or they can't even recruit as much.
No, I think it would be the reverse.
Seniors, they got more seniors and
I see what you're saying.
Sticking around, I guess is what. So,
I got what you're saying, and the freshmen want to play.
No, and I'm just kind of pulling it all out. Just
pull it down over your booty.
Just don't know how to do it.
Anyway, well, there is
like Tuesday.
I'm from South Dakota. South Dakota is under. I mean, I don't get it so much now, but when I first moved from South Dakota and moved out east, and I would meet people, and they would ask, where are you from? And I would say from South Dakota. And if I had a nickel for every time I heard this phrase, I'd have a few $100 at least. And I would say from South Dakota, and they would say, you're the first person I've met from South Dakota. I don't hear that anymore because I think maybe South Dakota, everybody's traveling more. But, there aren't that many South Dakotans. Although the population has been growing a lot in the last 5 to 10 years, a lot of people moving there, cost of living and different things.
For cost of living, it's good spot.
It's good, yeah. Oh, I was up in Indiana talking about cost of living. So I went to the Morning People Cafe, not sponsored, and that's the normal place I go. You didn't go with me. No, you didn't. You didn't go while we were up there. I went there for breakfast twice. And I was just comparing the cost of my normal meal. I had the big breakfast, which is 2 eggs and toast, sourdough toast, and hash browns and sausage. And in Nashville, with coffee, you're talking about $20 before tip, maybe more. Even if you go to Waffle House, well, it wouldn't be quite that much. It'd be $15 probably at Waffle House. And I'm there at morning, and I was like $7.50, $8. And I'm like, man.
It was good too. I bet there. First time I came.
Cost of living is a lot cheaper than in a bigger city. Small town of Madison, and food was just good. Nothing wrong with food. Anyway, I was going somewhere.
Yeah, where are they getting their eggs?
Where are they getting their eggs?
They get them locally.
Maybe they do.
They look like I guess you don't even know. You're not seeing the outside of the egg. You're seeing once it's already cooked, so you don't know if it's like a white one.
Well, Waffle House has on their menus that they're upcharging 50 cents extra as a added-on fee per egg that's in the meal. The price is listed, and then they add how many eggs are in the meal. Add another 50 cents.
Yeah, and last time I bought eggs, it was like about $9 for 18, so about 50 cents each.
Yeah, and so Joel, who we had a meeting with Joel, and he ordered, I don't know, like 5 eggs. And when they brought it, I said, man, that's a fortune right there. 5 eggs all sunny side up in a plate. Like, you don't see that often.
I love my eggs.
Yeah, me too. So anyway, I was going somewhere with my Madison thing, and I've lost it. Oh, so local South Dakota. I grew up there, born and raised in South Dakota, and my album Born in South Dakota is coming out. You can buy the pre-sale commercial. Anyway, I would say, from South Dakota, people would say you're the first person I've met from South Dakota, and that was the normal routine. And back to the sports. So South Dakota used to not have any Division I schools, and now we have at least 2. South Dakota State is Division I, went through the procedure to get to be Division I, and they're probably strongest in the girls' basketball. We watched them get blown out by UConn. When we turn it on, UConn had 80 something, and they had 40 something. So they got blown out. It wasn't the first game either, so they must have won at least one game, the South Dakota State girls. And the boys have also made it. The South Dakota State men's have also made it to the NCAA tournament, but they don't last more than 1 or 2 rounds. But the reason this is all germane is that my team is the Celtics. If you watch any of our podcasts, you know that I'm a rabid Celtics fan. I used to live in Boston during the Larry Bird days. Used to go see him. And there's a player. His name is Baylor Shireman. He's a rookie. He was taken last in the first round, 30 by the Celtics, drafted by the Celtics, and he went to South Dakota State. And he's from Nebraska and went to South Dakota State. He's playing with the Celtics, and for a rookie, he's getting a lot of play recently, doing really well. I'm really proud of him. I may even get his jersey, but then they'll probably trade him. But Baylor Shireman, shout out to him. Not sponsored.
Playing well, yeah.
If you want to come on the podcast, we'll have you.
Yeah, he's like, hey, somebody from South Dakota. Well, golly, what's the chances? You don't run into them folk.
And so it's the same size university. It's just interesting to me that they went through the whole procedure of getting to be Division I. I mean, they were, I think, Division II or III, maybe even NAIA. I'm not even sure what class they were.
Let's play against
But they were
teams.
Yeah,
Right?
so because there's just something about it being Division I school. That's a whole different level of everything, I suppose. Not just
you're gonna grow.
not even
be appealing to.
not just sports, but also everything else. If students say, well, I want to go to division and I want to get a good education, you're not playing sports, but you just want a good education, you probably say, we're going to go to Division I. I want to go to Division I school because that's the best school. I mean, I would concede that being a consideration. So there's probably much more around that effort than just the sports aspect of it. Anyway, and I remember I was living in South Dakota when they went through the whole thing and got to be Division I, and I'm sure there's a application process and you have to prove all these metrics, and they became Division I. And now the other University of South Dakota, I've read, I believe, is now also Division I. So there's 2 Division I schools in South Dakota, which is a big deal for my little home state. Not even 1 million people there live there, and we have 2 Division I schools. That's a big deal for South Dakota. I mean, if you're North Carolina, that's ho-hum, because how many schools you got that are perennial great NCAA? We were looking up who are the big NCAA basketball teams, and of course Duke is always in the mix, and the Tar Heels, University of North Carolina, and there's a couple others. And the North Carolina State usually has a great team, and then I think even Wake Forest is also in North Carolina. So North Carolina is like having a Division I school. That's nothing. We have so many of them. Imagine if you're from Boston. All of the schools up there are big colleges that are up there. Boston College, Boston University, MIT, Harvard University. There's a whole bunch more that is in the Boston area. So, having a big university, ho-hum, we have many of them. But for South Dakota, Division I, big deal. So,
yes, sir.
How about Arkansas? You got the Razorbacks.
Got the Razorbacks, and then probably Arkansas State is probably Division I too, I think. And then I'm not sure about anything else. There might be another Division I that I don't know of.
Texas has a bunch of them. Texas Tech, who the Razorbacks are playing, and then the Longhorns. That's not Texas Tech. We're showing my ignorance now. The Longhorn, that's a big one. You see the Longhorn emblem. Is that Texas Tech? I'm going to get shot because I don't know that. Texas University. What's that?
After I'm talking about college for too long, I started breaking the hives.
Okay, let's change.
No, I think about homework. Well, what's worse, I literally went to a small mission. I thought I was going to a small mission school, and then it turns into a full college. I'm like, more homework. I'm just here for summer. I'm just here for the summer camp. That was what I felt like when I first went there. It was just like summer camp. No, I had a great experience. Shout out to Ecclesia College. But yeah, it was just a mission school. I went to with mission trips when I was younger. To China for a month. And
Turkey
for a few weeks.
Where else? I still have the Turkey T-shirt you brought back. I still wear it from time to time.
One of my best ones was going to Mexico. A few of Mexico.
Where'd you go to Mexico? Mexico City or?
Went to Chihuahua. And
Chihuahua.
Yeah, some small areas. Chihuahua.
You have to move your jaw.
Well, see, it made me hurt myself. Could someone call an ambulance from the broken jaw? What's he doing to me, Tim? Tim is always beating up on me. Can't you see? Can't anybody see?
I'm going on a mission trip to Cambodia.
Cambodia.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's where the headhunters are, right? You got one of the
Headhunters? I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't they eat people around there?
No.
Remember they used to?
No. I think you're thinking of Africa.
an
Are you thinking
exception
about
for you,
Africa?
Wait, it's not Africa?
No, Cambodia is not in Africa.
Cambodia. Why do I think Cambodia? That sounds like African name.
No, Cambodia is in Asia.
Like I've always said, Jim, I'm fantastic at my geography. Welcome to the next segment. This is sponsored by my geography teacher. This is the world. The world has places all over it. I have no idea where those places are, but you can Google them. That's why I'm so thankful for Google. I thrive in a world where you can utilize Google. Where is Cambodia? Where is the Gambia? You try to find the Gambia. That's a little sliver. I went to school with somebody from the Gambia. Well, itty bitty sliver.
Yeah. In Africa.
Yeah, you're correct. Tim.
So talk about.
Seth is a beast.
I am hoping to go to Qatar later this year, trying to set up a music event.
You have plenty of guitars.
And right there along Qatar, there's a whole bunch of Middle Eastern countries. Bahrain is there. Right on the what's the ocean there? But you go up into the Suez Canal, right on the edge of Saudi Arabia. There's a whole bunch of small little countries there. Yeah, well, United Arab Emirates is really close to Qatar. I want to go to Dubai. That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's where they're working on that line. They're calling it the line or whatever. They're making that super long, like it's supposed to be like a crazy long line that goes for miles, and that the mirror's on the outside of it, and it's like super high. Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
They've already started construction of at least digging out all the dirt for it and digging down to make a foundation for it. But it goes for miles, and it's called the line.
A rail line? What do you mean line?
To live in. Basically, it's going to be a city, but long way.
Oh, right. I've read about that.
Yeah, it's called the line. And it seems crazy. I mean, a lot of people say that's impossible to do, whatever. Like, just that concept, and then they're in the desert to do it. But, I mean, they got the money to do it.
Somalia's in that area. The Somali pirates. We watched a really interesting how the Somali pirates became a thing, and then they got crushed. There was nobody stopping them.
They were just fishermen before.
They were just fishermen, and then they got started with the piracy, and then they found a way to they thrived for about 10 years, and then they found a way to make it. Well, for one thing, everybody. I think if I remember the description, what they did, you didn't travel to that area unless you were in a group. And there was always at least some boats that were armed. They were just sitting targets, and so you just couldn't pull up in your pirate boat with a few AK-47s.
Everybody's shooting back at them now.
Everybody's shooting back at them.
I heard this crazy thing. I don't know if I were you when I heard this, but supposedly there's even you can pay to go hunt them too. Or not just hunt them. That sounds horrible, but you can pay to see if you run into them, and basically you can pay like an excursion thing and see if you run into them trying to take down boats or whatever. And it just seems crazy. I don't know what it's true. Yeah, basically it's
piracy sightseeing.
But guns. But you're trying to stop them from doing what they're doing. But yeah, their job is becoming kind of hard. ever since that movie. You know.
Yeah, so I mean, things ebb and flow, and there's because there were so many people that got it. Was a big thing like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Somali pirates.
Yeah, they would just pay them.
And then they figured out, how do we stop this? Well, I think they did everything in groups, in entourages, basically, a fleet, and they would have some war boats there who could defend. And suddenly they weren't just sitting ducks, all by themselves, unprotected. And so countermeasures, and then countermeasures. It's like the spam callers, calling, trying to spam, finding ways to extract money from wealthy countries, whether it's elderly abuse, calling. And my dad was lonely after my mom died, and he had a guy who would call him all the time and talk to him for hours and get him to send money. And he did send some money, and we warned him, 5 million times, please don't do that. But there were some charges on his credit card, and he was a smart man, but in his older years, that judgment went away, and he became more frail and susceptible to that. And that's one way. Or love, they on dating sites, they someone who's desperate for love and attention, and they pretend to be, and women have sent money to people who are not what they claim to be. So a lot of scams, and they come up with new ways of circumventing countermeasures. So it's kind of like that. I mean, the thieves, the bad guys innovate as well sometimes.
The question is, how many hours do these people put in with Grandpa to get a couple $100?
Well, in poorer countries, like for example, I went to Cuba. Let's just bring that in. Went to Cuba, and I met a young lady who was my hostess at the Airbnb, and I am going to do a clip of that and just focus on that right there. I don't like it. Anyway, and she said you can get a law degree. A law degree is difficult to get. You have to get your bachelor's, and then you have to go more. And if you get a law degree in Cuba, she said she got the law degree, but she's not practicing as a lawyer because her salary would be $20, equivalent of $20, not per day, not per week, per month. So that's why she's an Airbnb hostess. And I was paying normal rates. I was paying like $120 a night. And so if she gets paid off of that rate, because I'm from the U.S., well, that's what an Airbnb is, right in Havana. Okay. And I liked it. It was a beautiful place. I didn't mind.
That's why.
But I mean, that's huge money. That outside money versus, a $20 a month lawyer, it's not going to sniff that kind of payday. I don't know what you got paid, but you got paid from the person who owned that. And they have multiple units, and they needed someone who speaks excellent English, and she does. And so she gets paid probably based off of that. She might get $20 per, let's say she gets $20 per night a person. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what she gets paid, but it would be within the realm of possibilities that she gets paid $20 per person per night. So that to host it and make sure, and I could not call her, but I could text her on WhatsApp at any time. Could you help me with this or help me with that? I need to change money. And she helped me with that. And that's a lot more than $20 a month. So when your pay rate is that low, if you get $5 from somebody, if it takes you 2 hours to get it, it's worth it for you. You know what I mean? So, and then I read an article about there's people they kidnap, people like Chinese people, they get kidnapped and they take them to this camp that was on the border between, not even been in Cambodia, but in the Southeast Asia, and kind of an area that is not very well regulated, and it's and they force these people to live there.
Like a summer camp?
Yeah, like a summer camp, except they got to work 15 hours a day, and they give them a little money to go to the kiosk and buy some food, but they have to produce, and they can't get out of there. They're kidnapped. And one guy got out because he was very smart, and he was able to get the message out in code in some way to somebody that he was communicating with, and he got rescued and he got out, and he's spilling the story. It was just horrible stuff. And so these masterminds are forcing these people to do this activity to try to extort money through whether it's a love scam or an old person scam or any kind of a scam where you.
I'm just starting to realize I worked at a camp for a couple of weeks one summer and I didn't get paid anything.
But you weren't scamming people on the internet.
No, I think I got scammed. I didn't get paid anything. I was.
You were volunteering.
You think so?
Yes.
Well, my most people were volunteering.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Gotta love Tuesdays.
I always take some dark subjects. Bring some levity, Seth. Bring some levity. Bring happy. Counteract my negative, dark subject analysis
Today,
stuff.
good news.
Good news, Seth. Let's get some happy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't say. I just got I got songs I'm working on. There's a song that I played it for you and you laughed. It's a kind of a goofy song that I wrote with my buddy Jimmy. It's called "Is This Your Monkey?"
Well, I didn't know what to think. I walked in and you were singing it, and I was like, I don't think I should interact with you.
And it's going to be released probably early April. It's called "Is This Your Monkey?" And it's a funny story, just made up story. My uncle had a monkey, and he named him Bill. And Bill the monkey never sat still. He was climbing on the ceiling, crawling on the floor, breaking everything, looking for more. One day came a knocking on my uncle's door. It was an angry neighbor, and he let out a roar. He said, "Your monkey's in my fields and your monkey's in my stalls, and now I think your monkey's drinking alcohol." That's the first two verses. So, is this your monkey?
You just rhymed.
I did.
That rhymed.
Of course I did. I'm a songwriter.
That rhymed. That we went to. You just molded together like such simplicity and I feel refreshed.
So I can't wait for that to come out. That's a happy, funny song. I hope it makes people laugh. I hope it makes people smile. Should be coming. Sorry. You can help me promote it. And then another song that I just finished and we sent off to mastering. It's called Freight Train Blues. And it's more of a lighthearted song as well. So I got a couple songs coming out over the next month or so.
So you tell me
your monkey?
That the monkey isn't driving the train.
No, they're not. They're unrelated songs. Unrelated songs. The monkey's not driving the train. But the monkey is drinking alcohol. And he's getting in some mischief. So the monkey's about, is this your monkey?
You know, if you're going to drive anything and you're drunk, you might as well drive a train, right?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? You can't go left. You can't go right.
Okay. The least dangerous a drunk driver would be driving a train. Yes. I believe that's correct. We'll put that on the notes of this podcast. We have decided.
Good times.
How we
We
doing?
got a little bit of a late start, but yeah, it's about that time. I think. Did we start 5?
Close to it. A little bit after.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, thanks for watching. As always, we're just a couple days late, but thanks for viewing. We're still here. A couple days late. No biggie.
We'll be on next Tuesday. We're not going to miss that
5
next
o'clock.
Tuesday, 5 o'clock.
Live for you guys, and still always available on Apple and Spotify. And you can watch it anytime on YouTube. And feel free to catch up on any episodes. And as always, please share our podcast, especially on Facebook. That really gets us out, to more people. And if you're not following us on No Sugar No Cream on Facebook, please follow us. We're trying to work our way up to 100 on there, so we can go live on there. And guys, we will see you next time. I love you very much. Bye. No, seriously. Bye.